In part 1, we saw animals doing the impossible, but part 2 is darker, because some creatures don't just survive. They hack other bodies, deceive entire ecosystems, and use weapons so precise they look engineered. Everything you're about to see is real. The only question is, how much of it do we truly understand? This episode is a collection of documented cases where science has strong theories, but the full mechanism, the control, or the limits of the ability are still being studied. No myths, no magic, just nature doing things that still feel wrong. Some fungi can infect insects and change their behavior in ways that look like remote control. In zombie ant infections, the host can abandon normal routes, climb, and lock its jaws onto a leaf in a specific position before dying. Researchers have identified fungal growth inside the body and chemicals linked to altered behavior, but the eerie mystery is precision. Why that height? Why that angle? Why that timing? It's not just killing a host, it's orchestrating a final act that benefits the fungus with terrifying accuracy. Toxoplasma is a microscopic parasite that can infect many warm-blooded animals. In rodents, infection has been linked to reduced fear responses, sometimes even attraction toward predator scents, raising the chance the rodent gets eaten, which helps the parasite reach its next stage. The science is active and debated, but the mystery is how a tiny organism can influence complex behavior across different hosts. When fear is rewritten, survival logic collapses. Parasitoid wasps lay eggs in or on other insects, and the larvae feed in ways that can keep the host alive longer than expected. Some wasps even manipulate host movement or paralysis timing so the larvae remain protected. We understand the general biology, but the unsettling gap is control. How do these tiny animals deliver chemical precision like a surgeon, adjusting paralysis, immunity, and timing, without destroying the living container too early? Hairworms develop inside insects like crickets or grasshoppers, then somehow drive them to water, where the worm emerges to reproduce. Scientists have studied altered brain chemistry and behavior changes, but a big question remains. How does the parasite generate such a strong, water-seeking command in an animal that normally avoids drowning? It's one of nature's most disturbing examples of a life cycle that depends on hijacking a mind. Some octopuses don't just camouflage, they imitate. The mimic octopus can shape its body and movement to resemble different dangerous species, switching roles depending on the threat. Scientists document the behavior clearly, but the mystery is decision-making speed. How does it choose the best impersonation in seconds? The body becomes a language, and the octopus speaks it fluently. Cuttlefish can match complex backgrounds almost instantly, color, pattern, contrast, even texture-like effects, by controlling specialized skin cells. We know the hardware, chromatophores and deeper reflective layers. The mystery is the algorithm. What exactly does the cuttlefish see? How does the brain compute the perfect pattern so fast? And why does it sometimes choose camouflage that looks like optical art? It's as if their skin is doing real-time rendering. Bombardier beetles defend themselves by mixing chemicals inside a chamber to produce a hot, pulsing spray directed at attackers. The reaction is rapid, controlled, and repeatable. Scientists understand major components, but the mystery is how evolution built a system that avoids self-destruction, pressure control, heat management, valve timing. It's a natural weapon with engineering-level reliability. Pistol shrimp snap a claw so fast it creates a cavitation bubble that collapses with a shockwave, stunning prey. The snap is one of the loudest biological sounds in the ocean at close range. Physics explains the bubble, but the biological mystery is the claw. How does living tissue repeatedly produce that extreme speed and force without breaking? Nature turns water into a weapon. Archerfish knock insects off branches by shooting precise jets of water. They adjust for distance, angle, and refraction, the way light bends between air and water. We can measure the behavior, but the mystery is learning and computation. How do they calibrate so quickly, and how much is instinct versus experience? It's marksmanship in a fish brain. Hagfish can release slime that expands dramatically in water, clogging a predator's gills and forcing it to retreat. The slime is made of fibers and mucus that deploy almost instantly. Scientists study the material because it behaves like a biological supermaterial. The mystery is deployment. How does the hagfish control release timing and avoid drowning itself in the chaos it creates? Some frogs can survive freezing temperatures by controlling ice formation and protecting cells with natural antifreeze chemistry. The heart can stop and later restart. Biology explains parts of it, but the mystery is precision. How does the frog prevent lethal ice damage inside vital tissues and reboot complex systems after near total shutdown? It's controlled death and reversal. Deep-sea anglerfish use a bioluminescent lure to attract prey in darkness. Some rely on bacterial partners to produce that light. We understand the concept, but the mystery is survival strategy. How does life maintain such specialized light systems under crushing pressure, scarce food, and near-zero encounters? In the deep, light is power, and the anglerfish owns it. These aren't legends. They're living mechanisms, some partly understood, some still disputed, and many not fully mapped. In Part 3, we'll go even more extreme. Animals with senses that detect what humans can't measure easily, communication that looks like code, and behaviors that feel like they came from another world. If you want Part 3 next, comment the darkest case from this episode, and subscribe to World of Mysteries.